Stop for a moment before the day pulls you in different directions, before your thoughts start racing ahead of you. Today is not a continuation of yesterday's failures. It's a reset, a quiet, powerful opportunity to begin again without carrying the unnecessary weight of what didn't work before. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need a perfect plan, a perfect mindset, or perfect conditions. What you have is today, and that's enough. Because the truth is, we often spend so much time waiting for the right moment that we forget this moment is the only one that's actually real. Think about it. How many times have you rushed through your days just trying to get to something else? The weekend, the next milestone, a future version of your life where everything finally feels in place. But in doing that, you miss the quiet value of what's right in front of you. This day, this chance, this breath. Today doesn't ask you to be extraordinary. It asks you to be present, to take one step, even if it's small, because progress isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to give up. Sometimes it's simply showing up when you don't feel like it. Courage isn't always bold. It doesn't always look like big, dramatic actions. Sometimes, courage is that quiet voice at the end of a long day that says, "I'll try again tomorrow." And that matters more than you think. Remember this, nothing meaningful is built overnight. Just like a tree doesn't grow tall in a single day, your growth is happening in ways you can't always see. The small efforts you repeat, the consistency you choose, the discipline you build when no one is watching, those are the things shaping your future. And while you're chasing what's next, don't forget to acknowledge what's already here. Gratitude changes the way you experience your life. When you focus only on what's missing, everything feels incomplete. But when you recognize what you already have, even the smallest things start to feel enough. So, if today feels heavy, pause. Take a deep breath. You've made it through every difficult day up to this point, every single one. That's not luck. That's resilience. That's strength, even if you don't always recognize it. You don't need to restart your whole life today. Just choose one thing, one focus, one intention to carry forward. Because sometimes, that's all it takes to shift everything. So here's the real question. What is the one thing that truly matters for you to move forward today? You don't always notice the exact moment when things start to feel heavy. It doesn't usually happen all at once. It builds quietly through small disappointments, unfinished plans, expectations that didn't go the way you imagined. And before you realize it, you're carrying more than you intended, moving through your days with a kind of invisible weight. Maybe today feels a little slower than usual. Maybe your energy isn't where you want it to be. Or maybe everything looks fine on the outside, but internally, there's a sense that something is off, like you're trying to move forward. But part of you is still stuck thinking about what didn't work yesterday. That's the part people don't talk about enough. We often hear about success, growth, and big changes. But we rarely talk about the quiet in-between moments, the ones where you're not failing, but you don't feel like you're fully progressing either. The moments where you question yourself, where you wonder if you're doing enough, or if you're even on the right path. And in those moments, it's easy to become your own harshest critic. You start replaying things in your mind. The mistakes, the missed chances, the things you wish you had done differently. You tell yourself you should be further ahead by now, that you should have figured things out already, that somehow you're behind. But here's what's important to understand. Feeling this way doesn't mean you're stuck. It doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're aware of where you are, aware of where you want to be, and aware that there's a gap in between. And that awareness, as uncomfortable as it feels, is actually where change begins. Because before anything improves, before anything shifts, there's always a moment like this, a pause. A moment where you're forced to look at things honestly, without distractions, without pretending everything is fine. So if today feels uncertain, or a little heavier than usual, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're in the middle of a process that doesn't always look exciting or impressive, but is necessary for real growth to happen. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. From lessons, from everything you've already been through in the parts you wish never happened. And maybe, just maybe, this moment right here isn't a setback. Maybe it's a setup for something you haven't fully seen yet. And this is where it starts to get difficult. Because once you become aware of that gap between where you are and where you want to be, it doesn't just sit quietly. It begins to pressure you. It makes you question your pace, your decisions, even your worth. You start to feel like time is moving faster than you are, like everyone else is somehow ahead. While you're still trying to figure things out, that pressure can be overwhelming. You tell yourself you need to do more, be more, fix everything at once. And when you can't meet those expectations immediately, frustration kicks in. Not just frustration, but doubt. The kind that whispers, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I've wasted too much time. Maybe I missed my chance. And the more you listen to that voice, the heavier everything feels. Suddenly, even small steps feel pointless. You hesitate. You overthink. You delay starting because you're afraid that whatever you do won't be enough anyway. So instead of moving forward, you get stuck in this loop, thinking, planning, doubting, but not actually doing. That's the real conflict. It's not just about external challenges or circumstances. It's the internal battle between wanting to move forward and feeling like you can't. Between knowing what you should do and not having the energy or confidence to do it. Between hope and hesitation. And what makes it harder is that this struggle is mostly invisible. From the outside, it might look like you're just taking your time, or that nothing is really wrong. But inside, there's tension. There's pressure. There's a constant comparison between who you are right now and who you think you're supposed to be. You see other people moving, achieving, progressing, and even if you try not to compare, it happens automatically. You start measuring your life against theirs, using their timeline as a standard. And no matter what you've done, it never feels like enough. So you become stuck in a mindset where rest feels like laziness, slow progress feels like failure, and starting small feels insignificant, which leads to the most dangerous place you can be: not failing, but not trying at all. Because when you stop trying, not because you don't care, but because you're afraid it won't matter, that's when the distance between where you are and where you want to be starts to grow even wider. And deep down, you know it. You know you're capable of more. You know there's something in you that wants to move, to grow, to try again. But that constant weight of doubt keeps holding you back, convincing you that now isn't the right time. Or worse, that it's already too late. And that's the conflict you're facing right now. Not a lack of ability, but a battle against your own thoughts. But here's the shift that changes everything. Progress isn't about removing doubt before you act. It's about moving with doubt and choosing to act anyway. Most people wait until they feel ready, until they feel confident, clear, and certain. But that moment rarely comes the way you expect it to. Clarity is not something you wait for, it's something you build through action. The more you move, the more things start to make sense. Right now, you might be thinking that you need a big change to fix how you feel. A big breakthrough? A perfect plan. But in reality, what moves your life forward are the smallest, most consistent decisions you make when no one is watching. It's choosing to start even when you don't feel prepared. It's choosing to continue even when the results are slow. It's choosing to trust the process even when you don't fully understand it yet. That's where real growth happens. Because the truth is, your mind will always try to protect you by avoiding discomfort. It will tell you to wait, to delay, to stay where things feel safe and familiar. But growth has never lived in comfort. It exists in those quiet moments where you decide, I'm going to do this anyway, and it doesn't have to be big. One step is enough. One task, one small action that moves you slightly forward from where you were yesterday. That's how momentum begins, not with intensity, but with consistency. Think about it this way: if you improve just a little each day, even in ways that feel almost invisible, those small efforts compound over time. They build something stronger than sudden bursts of motivation ever could. You don't need to prove anything to anyone right now. You don't need to catch up to someone else's timeline. Your only responsibility is to keep showing up for your own life, even if it looks simple, even if it looks slow. And here's something. Most people overlook: resting is not the same as quitting. Slowing down is not the same as falling behind. Taking time to breathe, to reset, to gather your energy again. That's part of the process, not a failure of it. So instead of asking yourself, "Why am I not there yet?" try asking a better question. What is one thing I can do today that moves me forward, even slightly? Because when you shift your focus from perfection to progress, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop overanalyzing every step. You stop holding yourself back because of fear. And you start building something real, something steady, something sustainable, something that actually lasts. You're not as far behind as you think. You're just in the part of the journey that requires patience, discipline, and quiet persistence, the part that most people give up on. But if you can stay here, if you can keep moving even when it feels slow, you'll begin to see something powerful happen. Not overnight, not instantly, but gradually, undeniably, your life will start to shift. And here's the truth that most people avoid, but it's the one that will set you free. You are not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because you've been waiting for a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. You've been waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting for fear to disappear. But that version of youth, the one who has no doubts, no hesitation, no fear before taking action, that version is a myth. It doesn't come first. It's built after you decide to move. Everything you've been waiting for, clarity, confidence, direction, those are not prerequisites. They are results. They are created through action, not before it. So the longer you wait to feel ready, the longer you stay exactly where you are. And that's the trap. Instead, waiting can feel safe. It can seem responsible, like you're getting ready. But in truth, it only delays the one thing that will truly change your situation: taking action. Even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if it's imperfect. Because imperfect action will always move you further than perfect hesitation. Let that sink in. You don't need to fix your entire life today. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to eliminate fear before you begin. All you need is the willingness to take one step while fear is still there. That's it. Because the moment you take action, even with doubt still there, things start to change. You break the pattern and show yourself that you can still keep moving forward even when it feels uncomfortable. And that's where your power is. Not in waiting, not thinking, not in trying to predict every possible outcome, but in deciding right now that you're done standing still. Because no one is coming to give you permission. No perfect moment is going to arrive and suddenly make everything easy. No external sign is going to remove all uncertainty. It's you. It has always been you. And the life you keep thinking about, the one where you feel proud, stable, and at peace, that life doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins the moment you stop waiting. So if you remember anything from this, remember this. You don't become ready, then start. You start, and that's how you become ready. And once you truly understand that, once you stop negotiating with your own potential and finally take that first step, no matter how small, that's the moment everything begins to change. So, now, this is your moment, not tomorrow, not later, not when everything feels perfectly aligned. Right now, you've already thought about it enough. You've replayed the doubts, analyzed the risks, and waited for the right feeling to show up. And yet, here you are still thinking, still hesitating, still standing in the same place. So, let's change that. Not with something big, not with pressure, not with unrealistic expectations, just one decision. Choose one thing, something simple, something clear, something you've been putting off. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be real. Maybe it's starting that task you've been delaying. Maybe it's writing down your thoughts instead of letting them circle in your head. Maybe it's taking a small step toward a goal you keep saying one day about. Whatever it is, do it today, not later. Not when ye feel more ready, today. Because the longer you wait, the heavier it feels. But the moment you start, even in the smallest way, that weight begins to lift. You create movement, you create momentum, and most importantly, you prove to yourself that you're capable of change. So here's what I want you to do. Pause for a second after this. Don't scroll away immediately. Don't distract yourself. Take a breath. Decide what is one thing you will complete today. Make it specific, make it clear. Something you can actually finish. Then commit to it not in your head, but through action. And if you're willing, write it down. Say it out loud. Turn it into something real. Because goals that stay in your mind often fade, but goals you define clearly become something you can follow through on. And when you finish it, no matter how small it seems, acknowledge it. Give yourself credit. That's how confidence is built. Not from thinking about doing things, but from actually doing them. If this message resonates with you, don't just let it pass by. Save it. Come back to it when you feel stuck again. Share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Because sometimes the right words at the right moment can shift someone's entire direction. And more importantly, hold yourself accountable. Not to be perfect. Not to have it all figured out. But to keep moving. One step, one action, one decision at a time. So, before you move on, ask yourself again and answer it honestly. What is the one thing you will do today to move your life forward? Then, go. Do it. And as this moment comes to an end, don't rush away from it too quickly. Let it sit with you for a second, because this isn't just another message you hear and forget. This is a reminder, one that you can come back to whenever things start to feel heavy again. A reminder that you're allowed to begin again as many times as you need without carrying the weight of every past mistake. Life doesn't move in a straight line. It never has. There will be days when you feel focused, clear, and in control. And there will be days when everything feels slow, uncertain, and a little off. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. That's part of the rhythm. That's part of being human. What matters is not that you always feel strong. What matters is that you don't stop, even if your steps are small. Even if your progress feels invisible. Even if no one else notices. It still counts. Because at the end of the day, this journey isn't about proving something to the world. It's about building something within yourself, a kind of quiet strength, a steady discipline, a belief that you can rely on, even when things don't go as planned. And that kind of strength doesn't come from big moments. It's built in the small ones, the quiet decisions, the days when you choose to keep going, even without motivation. So if today didn't go perfectly, that's okay. If you didn't do everything you planned, that's okay. If you're still figuring things out, that's okay. You're not behind. You're in progress. And progress, no matter how slow, is still movement. It still matters. It still leads somewhere. So tonight, instead of overthinking everything you didn't do, try something different. Acknowledge what you did, even if it feels small. Even if it doesn't seem like much. Because those small moments are building something bigger than you realize. And tomorrow, you get another chance. Not to be perfect. Not to fix everything all at once, but to continue to take another step, to try again, to move forward just a little more than you did before. So carry this with you. You don't need a perfect life to start feeling proud of yourself. You just need to keep showing up again and again, quietly, consistently, honestly. And over time, without even noticing it at first, you'll look back and realize you didn't just get through it. You grew through it.